Thobe Gumede, a camera operator and audience coordinator who keeps discovering great skills about herself and not shy at all to fit into various profiles within the production. In this episode, we zoom into two of her production roles that have landed her in awesome productions working with great talent. You are watching Motive, and thank you so much for tuning in. During the time of this recording, the wind was rather terrible in both our locations, so we apologize for that in advance.
All right, so I'm doing a series on Motive where I'm talking to talent behind the scenes. There are so many great shows that South Africans love and the world, because I know that some of the shows are being bought outside the country, and people locally, if you are not in the media industry, you don't know who's doing the show, you don't know their story. So I thought, let me just start with the people I know that I've worked with behind the scenes, or people that are just naturally just doing great things behind the scenes, and talk to them. And the aim for this is so that we inspire those that are coming behind us. I know that kunabantu that are within the industry that are almost giving up because the industry is not looking so good, and making sure that those that come way after us have a reference point by looking at our work, by looking at these interviews, and realize that this actually is a career and can and must be treated as such. Yeah. So I invited you to speak to you about yourself. If you can introduce yourself and then tell Uguti when I went behind the scenes.
Okay. First of all, thank you. I feel so honored when you invited me. I felt so honored. A bit nervous. I was like, I don't think I'm that much of a big deal, but I mean, thank you. I appreciate the recognition. You know. And I'm for the industry, the behind the scenes people that do so much that is not recognized, but you only see it in front of the camera when you watch your television, and you only see the people in front of the camera. So I do appreciate this very much. Thank you for making me a big deal.
You are.
Yeah. So to introduce myself, my name is Thobe Charmaine Gumede, as per my ID. I come from Enanda, Ematige, where I currently am. And I'm a daughter. I am a sister. I am a friend, a lover. And most importantly, the lover of arts. I love the arts very much. My main focus is camera work. I do a lot of camera work on low budget mostly.
Yeah.
And it's still a dream to do high end film. That's the goal.
Yeah. Okay. How did you get into the television or film industry?
How I got into the television industry, before I went to study, I remember during 2007-8, I used to attend the Durban Film Festival. I heard there were free films around Durban, and they were
I used to love the festival.
Like, what? Films? And I went to check it out each and every year from 2007. And eventually I asked somebody that was working there how they work in the film industry, the venue assistants thing. And I asked them, and then they hooked me up. And the following year, I got to work in the film industry, in the Durban Film Festival. And then from there, I decided, because I met a lot of filmmakers who have studied, others haven't studied, and I was inspired to go study, because I recognized that I lacked some experience and information that I needed to carry with me when I'm catering for filmmakers.
Yeah.
So I went to study film and television, which is termed video technology at the Durban University of Technology. And I studied there for 3 years. I got my diploma. And while I was a student, that's when I started working. I worked for an online TV magazine, Kuluma TV, when I was doing my second year in varsity.
Mm-hmm.
And then what did I do? After that, I kept on working for the Durban Film Festival every July, because it was just during July.
Yeah.
It was an annual thing. So I kept on working for them until I met a gentleman by the name of Anton Krenner, who provided a service for Endemol, security service for Endemol Productions.
Yes, I remember Anton.
That's where. No, yes, and then I was the only girl in his team of big macho security
Big,
guard.
tall, macho man.
Yeah, I was the little short girl there with a lot of passion, and he recognized that I just needed a little step up, and I worked for him as an intern. And then that's where, after him, then I got to work for Endemol Shine Africa, where I met you.
Yeah.
And I was assistant audience coordinator, working with Lindy West.
Yeah.
She was my mentor there, and that's what I started. Yeah.
So how was your first experience, especially because you got your break doing such a big show like Big Brother Mzansi? How was that for you?
Oh, my first experience, I felt like I was a candy. I felt like, wow, this is it. Because, the big names there, the big stars, that used to come behind the scenes, especially. And then you'd have your people in the house as well, whom also have started their own little fame thing, Yana.
Yeah.
And, you get to just give yourself in the bag, because, oh my God, I got myself here. But I was still raw. I was still young, surrounded by people who have so much experience, including yourself. So I just opened up myself for learning. So it was another level of just consuming information and things that I needed to have to pursue my own goal.
Yeah. Okay. So from that, I know that you went back to Durban. What other projects did you do in Durban, and what are the lessons that come with being behind the scenes? When I'm talking about lessons, I mean to say, for instance, right now I'm doing a project that reminds me of my very, very first experience in television when I was a researcher. I put together stories. I would identify topics that I think the country must speak about, and people would speak about those topics without probably even knowing who I was. So you've had the school experience, working with great names experience, and you had to come to a point where you think, now I can choose what do I want to do or focus on. So can you bring us to that experience when you started choosing the jobs, the projects, the roles behind the scenes that you wanted to do? What were the lessons that came with that?
The ones that come, there's so many, hey? I'm just listening to you, and just there's so many that I can think about. But the ones that are at the top of my head right now, the longest was when I applied for locations and facilities coordinator.
Gotcha.
So it was an intern as well.
Was this at Film Mart?
It was at the KwaZulu-Natal Film Commission.
Oh, Film Commission. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yes. It was an intern position.
Yeah.
So when I applied for that one and got that one, I was still in Joburg. I had always been praying trying to get something behind the scenes in Durban, in KwaZulu-Natal, where I'm from. It was always a dream for me. So when I applied for that intern position and they invited me for an interview, I was so excited. I was so sure I was going to get it. I was so excited. I was like, this is my home. They cannot take me. It's my home. Location, come on. I know half the locations there. I mean, you know. And then, luckily, I mean, God heard me and he spoke to the hearts of the people that were interviewing me. And I got to be one of the interns there. So going to what you were mentioning, the lessons that I had learned there. Well, when I started there, I spent 2.5 years with them. And during the first year, I really took myself as like a student, like you're an intern. So the title gives you that, you relax a bit. You think there's not much expected from me. I'm just learning. So you rob yourself of your potential, if I can put it like that.
Yeah.
And after the first year, I saw that my mentor needed me to just bring my A game because they also saw potential in myself.
Yeah.
And the passion that I had. And they just pushed me a little harder. And it was then that I got to be given projects to handle while I was there. And I remember we had been preparing for 350 photographers from all across the world that were going to come and visit KwaZulu-Natal.
Yeah.
And we had to just come up with stuff that they would take pictures of to whatever location that we think will represent KwaZulu-Natal best. So she was like, I trust you, love you, your property. Why don't you take this project and show me what KZN is about?
Do, yeah.
And I was like, damn. Hey? I thought, damn, it's such a big thing. But I was so excited. I thought, if this is my chance, let me show off. Let me see what I can do. I've always wanted to work with people like that. So I worked with designers. I thought because KZN hasn't been seen in the world as much as I would love to. So I thought, let me bring the fashion aspect of it, especially since our fashion is so different.
Yeah.
You know, and then I spoke to a lot of dancers as well. Well, a couple of, not a lot. Some dancers that I knew. I used to go to theater shows and see a lot of dancers that were so rooted in KZN with their dancing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let me show that as well. And obviously some locations, game reserves, animals, typical South Africa. And then, so that is when now I saw what I can do, my potential. I saw myself doing some things that I never do, in terms of communication, in terms of getting people to do things.
Yeah.
I've always been ordered around, always been told what to do. I've never given myself a chance to delegate and work with people, communicate so that this one thing in this one day comes together to benefit a lot of people involved. So that's one. That was the highlights, and we went to visit those places, and I was so proud of myself, and my mentor was so proud of me as well.
Yeah.
Family, alike, colleague. Yeah, that really proved to me that I can actually do more than what I think of myself. Mm-hmm. So they have been pushing myself to greater levels.
Yeah.
And also another high, I was working for the KwaZulu-Natal Film Commission. We go to host. We got I don't know what's happened. Forgive me. Maybe it's because I'm in the Windows and I speak a lot of Zulu these days, so
that's
my English
right.
is a bit weak.
We need to promote our languages anyway.
Yeah. So I got to work. We got to host this gentleman by the name of Omari Yun. I'm so bad with names. I'm trying to remember his proper names as he introduced himself. But he's well known, famously known as Omarian.
Okay.
From the B2K group, yes. So we got to host him and his management. He came to do a music video here in KwaZulu Natal for his song Distance Between Our Bodies.
Okay.
And we were given the responsibility to look for locations for him, work with location scouts to find locations for him that he can film his music video at. So myself and my mentor put it upon ourselves to make sure that we find ourselves, so that whole relationship between their management in America and ourselves here as government, so that other productions can be born out of that. So we took him to iconic places like the Valley of the Thousand Hills.
Yeah.
And what else? Around Inanda. And where else did we take him? And in Durban as well. Some iconic places in Durban. So, and and we linked him up with a few just around here. So that relationship was good. I was just so grateful to be a part of work with somebody that has so much experience, in front of the camera.
Yeah.
At that level, at the level that he is, to actually be serious with him and not be like, oh my God, just to be disciplined and learn from him as well, and learn from the management as well, and build relationships as we.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. You've been busy here in KZN.
It's like when they say dreams, my dreams are no longer dreams no more. My dreams are a reality now. You invited me to your channel. I don't take these things for granted. As much as I know you on a personal level from work as well, we know each other from work.
Yeah.
And you're a good person that you easily make friends, and I appreciate that. You're such a beautiful human being.
Thank you.
Also, the work that you do as well, and I mean it when I say I feel honored. You making my.
Oh man, it's all good. I recognize talent, and as you say, I easily make friends. People that I connect with, I do believe that we do have some common goals or similarities, and it's always important once in a while to kind of rekindle and refresh those things. But this is mainly because people like you make these shows that we watch on TV memorable. If it's not for a good sound, if it's not for a good audience, if it's not for a good coordination, that show would not come to fruition. And I'm trying to just get people to understand how much workload there is behind the scenes, and that we shouldn't be taken for granted. Just because they don't see our faces on the screen doesn't mean that we are not important. We are very, very important. And people never get to know our real stories. So this is to get us to speak about our own experiences, and who knows, maybe your story can really create a dream for somebody else. That is my hope by doing these stories.
Yep.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I just remembered with the things that I mentioned, that I did. I didn't mention where I did camera work.
Yes, I was about to go there because I'm like, isn't there a filmmaker in you?
That's because I'm thinking of the highlights,
No, everything matters, girl. Everything matters.
When I look at where I want to, and not really comparing myself with other camera people, but just I still consider myself a baby. So I don't talk about that as well. But one that popped out is Kuluma TV,
Okay.
where we were like producers. We used to come with doing second year, but we were given the responsibility of coming up with an idea that from the initial stage You're the one that would talk to people that would be involved in that idea of yours.
Yeah.
Meaning you have to visit an organization, you speak to the head of that organization and set up a meeting and, discuss the concepts with them and go there and film it yourself. And you do sound, you do camera, and you do editing while you are producing. The only difference was that you didn't put in the money
lives.
to produce it. So that's when other skills now, like sound skill, where I used to be weak in strengthening my sound operating capabilities. While I knew that camera was the skill that I love so much, but I've got to now strengthen while doing that communication as well. Professional communicate other professionals from other industries. That was really, really where I learned a lot regarding filming, just filming, and myself as well on what I could do and what I couldn't do.
Yeah. Okay, great. Have you filmed anything of your own under your own name or under your own production? Do you have a production company now?
Yes, I have, which I just recently registered, so there's not work under that name.
Okay.
Yet. I just have work that I've been doing individually, that I've posted. I have a YouTube channel as well. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but I do have a YouTube channel.
What is it called?
It's under my name.
Okay.
It's Thobe Gumede. I opened it under my name. I like to go as myself.
Okay.
I don't like to give myself a lot of titles. Yeah. Well, I go by Thobe Gumede. So you can easily find me if you look for me.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have worked there. That was basically inserts. Inserts
I think I remember for fashion.
Yes.
Wasn't it inserts for fashion show, behind the scenes and stage stuff? I think I've seen
Devon
some
Fashion
of
Fair.
your work. Yes.
That as well. It's funny. It was one of my best productions. I pat myself on the back with that one because for two reasons. It gave me a hell of a run.
Yeah.
I thought I had 3 other crew members who couldn't make it, and I had somebody that was supposed to do sound. I had somebody that was supposed to do coordinates. I had somebody that
I
was
already
supposed to
know
be a
where this is
presenter.
going. Yeah, carry on.
Long story short, I ended up doing that show by
yourself.
Carrying the tripod with the camera
Yep.
and the microphone
Yep.
and the sun gun.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, you gonna see me through this. I don't know how the hell I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it, but you're gonna see me through this as long as I've got footage in the bag for me to edit by the
You're
end of
good.
this thing. So my presenter came through. They came through, but when we got to the venue, they chickened out. They were nervous. They couldn't do it. And I was like, okay, it's fine. Perhaps help me carry equipment at least.
Yeah.
And then carry the microphone. They were like, how people in front of the camera, they want to be divas. She was consumed in the illusion of the whole event.
The behind the scenes,
And,
yeah.
it was that beautiful. You didn't want to work. I give it up to designers, fashion designers, and those grip crew that put together stages.
Yeah.
And,
they do so much
the whole
work,
thing,
those O's. Yeah.
The fashion fair organizers, I give it up to them. They really put out a show. When they put out a show, they really put out a show. I think our industry in KZN can learn a lot from them. Because when they put out a show, they put out a show. So she got, consumed with the illusion of the stage and the whole feeling and the whole vibe, and she enjoyed herself. And I was just grateful that she was there You know,
To
I didn't
carry
want to,
your load.
look the last person. I was so appreciative of her, and I let her be. And then I just figured, I'm just going to talk to people. I'm just going to relax, because it went on for 4 days. So I thought to myself, if I can get 2 interviews a day, that will be fine for me, and just be on a relaxed mode, because I'm carrying so much equipment. I don't want to be dropping and breaking things.
Yeah.
So I told myself, I did a little bit of woosa before. I was like, I did some self-therapy, like you're going to do it, you feel it. So, yeah. And a little prayer. Then I went to, luckily people were responsive. People I interviewed, people that were really like good designers that are there's so many people. Some of them I didn't even edit in. There was just so much footage. I ended up having so much footage for a 30 minutes show. But the brief was like it has to be 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I just took this from there. But the whole experience, really, really, I enjoyed it. I'd still want to do it again any day. I'd still break a sweat for that one. It was so worth it. It was so worth it.
That's awesome. So let's get to the good and the bad parts of being behind the scenes, and probably gossip a little bit about some of the people we've worked with or we've worked for. Without disclosing any names, of course. So
No names.
No names. Let's be a Pick and Pay brand, okay? So what type?
The yin and yang, yeah.
What type of production companies do you prefer working with, and what type do you not like? When you answer, I'm gonna give you a hint. When you answer, I need you to think of how the crew is being taken care of behind the scenes, and how is the working environment. Does the company or the people you are working with, do they allow you to be fully creative? Because sometimes with companies, you can go, especially you guys carrying the cameras, you can go and shoot a 1 hour worth of footage and only to come to the office and they use 2 minutes of it. It has happened to me with one production. I went out, I filmed a superstar, but they felt that the superstar was flirting with me on the camera. They did not use that footage at all. So when you answer, I just need you to focus on, are you taken care of as crew? Is the environment conducive enough for you to be creative and be free to create as a creator?
Okay. I was going to say it's a tricky one for me, but I've given it a bit of some thoughts.
Yeah.
The productions that I like, just to answer your question, the productions that I like and the productions that I don't like in the industry, as much as I don't like to talk about the ones that I don't like, but it is the truth, the yin and the yang. It's what makes a whole. There's good and there's bad.
Yeah.
And I've had more bad experiences than good experiences. I've just chosen to take the good with me.
Okay, let's focus on the good then.
And let God deal with the bad. Yes. So just to answer your question though, the ones that the fresh productions, the new, I don't want to make it a race, such as the black market is we're really getting into production companies, and it's such a beautiful thing that is happening now, that we're having these chances to do this. But it's not about the race. I think it's about really experience, having experience.
Yeah.
So I would say the production companies that have been here for the longest, those are the ones that I prefer, mainly because they've worked and dealt with different kinds of people, like all kinds of people that you can think of, from mostly they are global, companies is fresh. It's the truth.
It's the reality,
production the new production companies lack experience. They underplay us, and they really don't provide a safe and free creative space for creators. You know, it's almost like government, like corporate.
Yeah.
You know, the people managing the production companies, the owners of the production companies, as much as they can have experience, but their colleagues that work for them don't really understand how to work with an artist. An artist needs to have a free space to create.
That is true.
So that you benefit, you get the best out of that art.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's always been like controlled so much that as an artist you feel, no, I need to go somewhere else.
You need to go somewhere else, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk to somebody younger than you in experience within the entertainment space, particularly television. People don't, I don't know what they think or how they think we get the audiences for shows that have audiences. And I know that you have specialized in that area in Big Brother Mzansi in Nigeria, where your role was to make sure that that live show that used to happen every Sunday had an audience, right? And I don't think that people know that this is a position on its own that has a salary that is respected, that is necessary and needed within the format of a show that has a live audience.
Yes.
Can you speak to somebody who thinks, hey, maybe I would like to do that. I'm good with people, I'm good in outsourcing, I'm good in convincing people to do something even if they don't feel like doing it. I'm good in ushering. Can you speak to that child? Can you speak to that person? Can you speak to that upcoming crew member